And I go down and I park on the corner. All these kids are cruising. And I hear the voice of God. I don't say it very often. Like, it's almost an audible thing. Build it and they'll come. I went, that's the Kevin Costner movie.
Yes. So I'm here with my friend Michael W. Smith, really a true legend. He has had a 40-year career. He's been nominated for Grammys 15 times. Is that right? 15?
I think. I don't know.
Okay. And won 4 times. Is that right?
3.
3. Is that all? Come on, man. 3 Grammys, 40 Dove Awards. Does that sound right? 18 million. This is just designed to embarrass you. 18 million albums sold, more than 36 number 1 songs on the radio. But the best thing about Michael W. Smith is he has given his gift to God, and he glorifies the Lord with his life, with his music, with all that the Lord has given. Well, Michael, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. It's an honor.
You just got off a plane, and here
did.
you are, resplendent in white as I am dressed in black.
I usually don't do the white, but I just, for some reason,
Well,
you
gotta be thin to pull off white.
Well,
I can't remember the last time I wore all white.
Well, that's why I usually wear black.
I don't think you need to. You know, I was thinking about how you first were introduced to Christian music in particular. I saw you talk about it. You went to some little bookstore and you saw, we call it Maranatha 1, but it was called The Everlasting Living
Jesus Music Concert.
Very unusual title.
Yes.
And of course, I was there at Calvary Chapel and watching those bands live, you know, and then that album came out. And so you were, what state were you in when you saw
I
that?
was 13.
13.
I was writing songs. I was still playing baseball and
Yeah.
wanted to be a professional baseball player, but I kept writing songs.
Yeah.
And I was buying all the Elton John and
Yeah.
the Beatles and
So is
Billy
that-
Joel. And so music was sort of starting to really take the hold of me because I kept
Yeah.
thinking, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then at 13, I walked in that store looking for a Beatles record.
Yeah.
And
What
found,
was your favorite Beatles record?
Oh, gosh, that's a hard one. Hard Day's Night, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, I love
it's
Hard-
really,
How
I
can you
think
not
it was the
love that?
beginning. I remember going to Davidson's record shop and
Yeah.
buying the 45. I still have it.
Yeah.
Thanks to my mom and dad.
Wow.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
That's a
and I
great
saw her
song.
standing there. I have both those singles
Yeah.
still.
Those are great songs.
Yeah.
Stood the test of time. Billy Joel, too. Amazing
Yeah.
artist. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. That
Yeah.
whole piece is
Yeah,
incredible.
it's brilliant. But when I saw that record
Yeah.
and it said that with the big red Maranatha sign, and I flipped it over and they all had long hair
Yeah.
singing about Jesus. And
Yeah.
I remember, I can tell you every detail about that moment.
Yeah.
I remember going, that's what I want to do.
Just from looking at the cover. So you had
Because I
music.
thought, because I would think, I was thinking, and then 15, I knew that's what God wanted me to do. But
Yeah.
I kept loving the Elton John records and loving the
Yeah.
Kansas records and going, well, why can't you make pop music and sing about Jesus?
Yeah.
And so when I saw that they were doing it, then,
Yeah.
you know, that might not be my style because I was up sort of more in the pop vein and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was my goal. I'm going to go get a record deal and I'm going to make pop music. I'm
Wow.
gonna
At
sing about
13, you
Jesus.
said, I'm going to get a record deal?
Well, no, I said that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
At 15, I knew that God really was calling me to do that. I'll never
So
forget it.
you were raised in a Christian home, right?
I was.
You wrote a book talking about things you learned from your father.
Yeah.
And what was your father's name?
Paul.
Paul. And so at what age were you when you made a commitment to Christ where you understood what you were doing? Or was it consistent back to your youth?
No, I knew what I was doing when I was 10. It was
Wow.
it was an epiphany. I mean, it was like I was with my buddies on the back pew.
Wow.
I'd heard the message over and over, and all of a sudden the light bulb went off. And I remember going, "Oh my gosh, he really is who he said he was."
Wow.
And I got up and walked down the aisle, and all my buddies were going, "What's he doing, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Like, you know, and it was real. And then 15 is the only second time I walked down the aisle, and I told Stan Franklin, who was my pastor, who baptized me. I said, "I think God's called me into music," and he laid hands on me and prayed for me.
Wow.
And then I lost my way at 17. I thought I could play with a fire and and not get burned from 75 to 79. I almost died from a drug overdose. I've written all
Let's
books
slow down
about
there
it.
for a
It's
second. Okay,
crazy stuff. So
17 is the age I was when I came to Christ.
yeah,
So, but 17 was the age you were at when you had a prodigal turn.
yes.
What was it that pulled you away from your faith, or was there something that was drawing you? I know it involved drugs.
I think that, I mean, the whole thing began at 13, and the Jesus movement found its way into Kennebunkport, West Virginia, of all places. And so, but while I was 13, 14, 15, all my buddies were smoking pot and drinking beer. So all my friends were college age.
Yeah.
And we would all meet almost every single night, having Bible studies and playing Jesus music in people's living rooms. And I was on fire. I wore this big wooden cross. I was a Jesus freak. And then all those people all went off to college and got married, and I didn't have a support team, and I started kind of hanging out with the wrong people. Going, maybe I can do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can play with the fire. And I got deceived. This is my favorite name for the devil. I mean, he's the great deceiver.
Yes.
And I think he was trying to kill me. And
Wow.
And he sucked me in, and then all of a sudden, it's the fourth year of that prodigal period when I almost lost my life from a crazy drug overdose. I knew that there was a call on my life, and devil's trying to take me out. And so I'm here, I believe, with every fiber of my being because of my mom and dad, who never gave up on me and prayed for me every
Did they know you were doing this?
Yeah, probably not to the extent.
Yeah.
Probably not the deep stuff, but they knew I was in trouble, and they never kicked me out of the house.
Yeah.
They never came down on me. They just kept loving me. And
So what was the drug that you almost overdosed on?
it was THC. It was some
Wow.
tranquilizer, and I thought it was cocaine, and it was something else.
Wow.
And my blood's rushing out both sides of my nose, and
My gosh.
the guy's trying to clean me up. And the 2 days I was like, my brain was fried.
Wow.
And that's when I knew. That's when I began to pray, God, do whatever you have to do to get my attention, because I think you've got to call my life, and I'm supposed to live and bring kingdom down to earth.
Amen.
And long story short, I hit rock bottom. November 1979. I lost my joy. I got depressed. I'd really never been depressed in my life. And I hit rock bottom, and I convulsed and twisted, and I was probably had a nervous breakdown on my linoleum floor in that apartment in Nashville, and for 3.5 hours, from like midnight till 3:30 in the morning. And then I was just like, I was so worn out, and I felt like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Abba was laying on the floor with me, with his arm around me. Said, it's going to be okay. And I haven't been the same since that day.
So, in your book, The Way of the Father, Lessons I Learned from My Dad, Truths About God. So your father really reflected the father in the prodigal son story.
Sure did.
Who welcomed the son home, even when he went astray.
Yeah.
So your dad, Paul, was key in that. Both
Absolutely.
my sons went prodigal, both got into drugs. And my oldest son, Christopher, who's been in heaven some time now, many years, like 18 years. And in fact, I remember after it happened, you called me. I don't know if you remember that,
do.
but I really appreciated that. And but he got into drugs, but recommitted his life to Christ. Was walking with the Lord when the Lord called him home unexpectedly. But his younger brother was really into drugs, Jonathan. And Christopher was having a conversation with him, and he said, Jonathan, what's it going to take for you to not do this anymore? I've already been down this road. You don't want to do this. What's it going to take? And Jonathan determined he was going to have another conversation with his brother Christopher, and then Christopher was gone. And I'm not saying that's what it took.
Yeah.
But the reality is that event changed Jonathan's life, and he recommitted his life to the Lord. He's a pastor now at our church. He's been walking with the Lord for many years. But, sometimes it's been said, when you get to the end of yourself, you get to the beginning of God,
Real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you carried the lessons you learned from your father, Paul, on to being a parent yourself?
I think I have.
You seem like you'd be a really good dad to me.
I love being a dad.
Does Michael W. Smith ever lose his temper? Do you yell?
Yes, from time to time. Yes, yes. but not too often, but I do. I mean,
Yeah.
We all do, and
Yes.
but I love being a dad. I love being a grandfather.
And how many grandkids do you have?
20.
20. Last
20.
time I saw you was not that many.
Well, we thought we were holding at 18, but it went up 2 more.
Do you know all their names?
I do.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Birthdays, I have to look at the calendar.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know all 20 names. That's impressive.
Yeah.
No, what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
So you got into music. You loved the Maranatha record. I think you started out as a session player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't really what we would call an artist yet. You were writing songs, though.
I was writing songs. That's how I got started. I wrote a song for Truth, and then I wrote a song for Sandy Patty, which was How Majestic Is Your Name. And then I met a girl named Amy Grant and started writing songs for her Age to Age record.
Yes. So you were a keyboard player. Mm-hmm. And did she sort of launch you into music?
I would say I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for her.
And have you been able to do that for any other artists as you've been successful, like people you've discovered?
I have, but I don't want to brag about that, but I mean, there's a lot of people that
Tell me some of them.
Well, Jars of Clay, Matt Maher was on the road with me.
Wow.
Jordan Smith from American Idol.
Yeah.
Melinda Doolittle on the Christmas tour. Gosh,
Wow.
I could go on.
Leland too, right? I mean,
who's that?
Leland too.
Leland.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually didn't go on the road together, but we wrote songs together, and I recorded a lot of his songs.
So one of the people you worked with early on, or maybe later in your career, was Billy Graham.
Yeah.
And and I was actually there at that time. I've been on his board for probably 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was helping him at that point because Billy was in his later years, and I was just starting our crusade ministry. So he said, I want you to help me with my messages and help make them more contemporary. Yeah. So I was going through his messages, and I was giving him fresher illustrations. I remember one time, this marks it in time where it was, I found a lyric from Smashing Pumpkins called Rat in a Cage. And so I don't remember the lyrics, but it was something to the effect of, I'm just a rat in a cage, something, another line or two. So I put it in there, and I put a little note, Billy, Smashing Pumpkins is the name of a band, because I didn't want him to think it was literally someone smashing pumpkins. And it was in Minneapolis when he delivered that line. It was one of the greatest moments of my life, because it was like
That's awesome.
Anything I could do to help Billy. We all loved him. But I know that he decided he wanted to reach younger people. This was a conflict on the board.
I know.
I was on the board at the time, and there were board members that were adamantly against it. And I was saying, no, you guys got to do this.
Yeah.
This is the best thing. And it was you.
Cleveland Stadium. 1994.
Did you guys ever do an event? It seems like, where was it? Georgia? Did you do one at Georgia as well?
I mean, I'm trying to think, because I know we did Minneapolis. Cleveland was the beginning of many.
Yeah.
So every Billy Graham crusade from that point on, Saturday night was youth night.
Yeah.
And so I did probably 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay.
And then I phased out. I got a little older, and they pulled in some younger bands to do it. But that night that's a top 5 for me of anything in my life, was that night. October.
You would do a particular song before he would come out and speak, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember what that song is. I should know what that song was. I think I might have introduced him that night.
Was it "Find Your Way"? You had a song about finding your way home or something.
I'll lead you home.
I'll lead you home.
That's it.
That's what I recollect it being.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I remember like you guys would be out and do your thing, and then Billy would come out. What I thought was so cool is Billy didn't like dress in a contemporary way. He just dressed like Billy, which was a suit.
Yeah. And
he came out, and he probably got the biggest applause of the night.
Oh, he did.
Because he was his authentic self.
5-minute standing ovation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got to know him too, didn't you?
I did.
That's a privilege.
The stories of just...
Tell me a couple.
Well, nothing like Billy laying hands on you and praying for you. But I would go visit him.
Yes.
And
in his home.
Yeah. Montreat. And I would play that out-of-tune piano and love on him and Ruth when Ruth was still alive. And then Ruth passed, and then it was Billy. And then I just kept going back, maybe a couple times a year, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
And we would just talk. And then he got weak, and and all of a sudden he's in a wheelchair. And so, but he always prayed for me. And so then I started setting up the piano beside his wheelchair in the bed. I'd bring electric piano in, and I'd play all his favorite hymns.
Wow.
And then the last 2 times, he couldn't pray for me because that's all I ended up praying for him.
Wow.
It's just like, and you sit there going, I can't believe I'm doing this, you know. But I know he could hear me, and I could hear him trying to hum because we put the headphones in so he could hear me a little better. And you know what? And it's so, I always kind of feel bad because I always called him Billy.
Yeah.
But out of respect, I think he's probably the one who said, just call me Billy.
Yeah.
You know,
You want to call him Dr. Graham. That's what all of his team called him. He said that, hey, call me Billy. Billy's it's a Southern thing though, isn't it?
It is.
You know, there's Johnnies, there's Billies, and it seems too personal, but he did want you to just call him Billy.
He did. I think we kind of had a lot of things in common and on some level. He's got 5 kids. I got 5 kids.
Yeah.
He travels. I travel. Keeping a family together.
Right.
And we would talk a lot about our kids.
Yeah.
And then we talked about a lot of stuff, you know. Yeah. Sometimes we talk about, very few times about politics, but just world affairs and what's going on in the world. But he would always bring it back to just going, you know, just Jesus is the only answer there is. And we would edify each other. He would really edify me. So when I would walk out of there, I just kind of felt like I was 10 feet tall going,
I feel he's the most godly man I ever met. I've met a lot of godly men, as you have, and women.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, you know, as he got older, he just became sweeter. And he was, to me, it was like, I think as close as you could get on earth, just sitting down with Jesus and having a conversation. He just reflected Christ. I remember one time in his home, Ruth was very ill at this point, and Dennis Agajanian, you know him, of course, he came over, and Billy asked him to play. So Dennis played Handel's Messiah. And as he was playing it
on the guitar,
he's playing it on his guitar. Ding, 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 ding. And Billy is just looking at Ruth, and Ruth is just like, even though she was very ill, she was almost like glowing. And I thought, wow, there's a story here. What's this all about? And then Billy at the end of the song, leaned over to Ruth and said, that's a song they played on our first date.
Wow.
Because he took her to see Handel's Messiah.
The Hallelujah chorus.
And it was such a sweet moment. They loved each other so much.
They did.
I saw them disagree too. That was fun.
Yeah.
You know, over nothing.
She was opinionated.
She'd speak her mind.
She would speak her mind.
Yeah. And you got to know George W. Bush.
I did.
And is that because you shared the same initial? Was that the connection?
No.
How did you get to know the president?
I met George W. through his dad.
Oh, wow. George H.W.
Yeah. And so I played a Christmas special, NBC Christmas in Washington, 1989.
Yeah.
The president was there, Barbara Bush, and met them before. They're on the front row. I'm going, God, I was dying on to heaven. I'm playing for the president of the United States. And then after the show, we thought it was over. We're back having a party, celebrating the thing. And then I had a guy from the president of NBC and a Secret Service guy come up and says, the president was requesting you and your wife to come to the White House. So we got in a car, ran every red light, and pulled up in front of the White House and walked in.
How cool.
And Barbara's telling stories. I'm with the president of NBC and George Herbert Walker Bush, and he's giving us the play-by-play of his conversation with Gorbachev on the ship.
Wow.
He had just gotten back from that.
My goodness.
I mean, it was like, this is not happening. Then we go in the East Room. He said, hey, Michael, won't you lead us in some Christmas carols?
Oh.
And so I led us all in Christmas carols. And so then he started touching base with me and writing me and saying, just let me know when you're watching it. You got to come and see me. I go, does this guy not have anything else to do?
Yeah.
And he meant it. I mean, and so I'd call Patty Presock, assistant, and I would go have hot dogs. We'd sit in the Oval Office and we'd chat. I probably visited Dad as much, if not more, than W.
How?
Yeah. But the crazy W story is that we go to Kennebunkport because seniors said, you got to come to Kennebunkport. Well, that's great. So Deb and I go out, and there's George W.'s there and Laura. And they're big tennis players, and they are very competitive.
Really? Yes. Even George H.W. at that age?
Very competitive. Wow. And so it was me and his partner in the Texas Rangers, and I've totally gone blank on who it was, but it was him and I playing father and son. And
were they competitive?
It was fierce, man.
They played to win.
They played to win, and we beat them. And they weren't happy about it.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I thought this would be the last time I get invited to Kennebunkport. But that's where I met W.
Yeah.
And then I got to know him. Then he obviously became governor.
Yeah.
And then he becomes president. And then I was on the presidential prayer team,
Wow.
you know, and praying for the president. And then I was on a
privilege.
council for the president. Just a great thing, honoring people, the people you don't ever hear about that are changing the world. And I was on that committee for over 2 years, almost 3 years.
Wow.
And that was awesome.
Have you met any other presidents?
I spent some time with Reagan.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Yeah. Not a lot. We were together I think 3-4 times.
While he was still president?
No, after he got out. I met Carter.
Yeah.
He was already out. So the only really, and Obama, you know, I met Trump just one time at the prayer breakfast, you know, but I don't really know him. But it's interesting the Bush thing, how all that happened. And I just remained a friend of the family and I still am.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, you know, it's an awesome thing to stand in the Oval Office.
It is.
And just look around and the history that's in there. And you know, you've met some amazing people there. And so what a great open door. You know, thinking of Billy Graham, I mean, he had a dramatic impact on the whole Bush family.
Yeah.
He effectively played a key role in George W. Bush coming to Christ, or at least recommitting his life to Christ. Mm-hmm. And of course, he was there in the Washington Cathedral after 9/11 at the request of President Bush, George W. Bush, and you know, really influenced that family.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing that they had that. Behind you is a portrait of Johnny Cash. I'm sure you met him more.
I actually did a Christmas show with him.
Wow.
With Billy.
Wow. What else?
Billy is June and Johnny, George Beverly Shea.
Wow. Billy
and Ruth and Amy Grant and I.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wonderful.
I'm
sure I saw that. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it was the we recorded like in the 80s or something, maybe early, but I think it was the late 80s. But
right.
I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on this little stage. I don't think it was at the Cove. It might have been at the Cove, what the Cove was back then.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Johnny, and he was just so delightful, and so was June, and it was a good moment.
He had such a special voice. You know, people say, well, he's country. He is country, of course, but I just feel like he's just Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
He's like in his own category because no one really sounded quite like him.
Nobody.
You know, even as he was older, even when Johnny's health was failing, I still like to even listen to those songs because he would interpret a song and present it in such a way where it kind of touches you, you know, the songs he chose and songs he wrote as well. And so like talking with him privately, what was he like hanging out?
He was very nice. He was just very gracious, very nice. I don't think he knew much about me, and that was earlier in my career, and I didn't expect him to, but he was very cordial and he's very sweet.
Yeah.
And I think Debbie was there, and he'd met Deb, and he's the legend. And my favorite thing I loved obviously all the old stuff, but I went back and listened to her again the other day. It's like, because I have a song kind of like that, and I was working with my producer and I can't wait for you to hear it. But I said, let's go back and watch the video of her, because I want them to hear, because we're sort of trying to kind of skew it in that sort of production. But I forgot how amazing it is.
Yeah, the video was as powerful as the song was, and together.
I agree.
Because he showed these old images of himself when he was the young, vibrant Johnny.
Right.
And then he showed himself as he was.
Yeah.
And
I was a little shocked by that, actually.
Members of his family didn't want him to do it.
Yeah.
Because they thought it didn't present him in the best light.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a beautiful thing to do at that stage in his career. Yeah. He's making a statement.
Right.
You can have this empire of dirt. I don't want it, you know. He's talking about what really matters to him. And we all need to come to that conclusion.
I agree.
I recently did an interview with Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so it's coming out soon.
I want to see that podcast.
He's a really cool guy, and
very talented.
Well, no kidding, because I actually know about his work because I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan.
Okay,
and I thought that Johnny's American recordings were the best work of his life. I kind of feel like Johnny's musical career is like bookended early Johnny, which I loved, and then later Johnny, which I
Right.
loved.
Yeah.
And Rick, you know the story. Johnny was playing this really small venue, and Rick went to see him and said, "Hey, I think I could produce you and do something with you." And Johnny's looking at this guy with long hair and a beard, like, "What are you going to do for me that no other producer has done?" Said, "Let's come over to my house and I'll set up some recording equipment and just play your guitar and sing your favorite songs." Well, he ended up using those recordings for the actual, because he thought they were capturing something. So I talked to Rick about that. And I said, "I heard a story that you guys did communion together before you would record." He says, "Oh, yeah, that's true." And I said, "So what's the origin of that?" He said, "It was actually my idea that I had seen some preacher talking about it on television, how important communion was. And so I said, 'Johnny, could we do that?' And we had communion every time we went in to record. And then even after we were done recording, we'd get on the phone and do communion together."
Wow.
So Rick is very open
Wow.
to spiritual things,
Yeah.
very open to the gospel. We had a very interesting conversation. I think you would be interested in.
No, I will definitely check it out.
So he said, "Tell me about Christian music." And I said, "Well, contemporary Christian music." He says, "I've just started listening to it." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I wasn't really even aware of it until recently." And so I told him kind of the origin story, how we were at Calvary Chapel and the Jesus movement was happening and Love Song came out and Larry Norman. I was kind of telling him about all these different people. And he said, "Yeah." And then he said, "I listened to some of this music and I feel that a lot of it kind of sounds the same. And I feel like there needs to be more like conflict or things they're dealing with and struggling with. It just seems too tidy and neat, almost like a Hallmark movie to me." I said, "Okay, I see what you're saying."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, some of the earlier music was maybe a little more graphic." I recited some of the lyrics of that song from Larry Norman.
Oh, I remember it.
"Why don't you look into Jesus?" Right?
Yeah.
Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day and all that.
Yeah.
And he was listening and then he said, "I want to do an outlaw Christian record." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "You should definitely do that."
Yeah.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Well, you've been there really from the beginning. You discovered it as it was just starting to blossom. Then it exploded. Then it became an industry, and now it's huge. As you look at, and I know you're a big part of it, but you're an artist and you have things you like and maybe things you don't like. And I don't want you to diss anyone or critique anyone, but how do you feel about the general direction that Christian music is taking right now? Do you like what you're seeing? Do you wish there was more of this, less of that?
Well, I like it that it's popular, and I like it because there's millions of people hearing the gospel for the first time.
That's true.
Like the Forrest Frank thing. I mean, that's just a phenomena.
Yeah.
You know? I think there's some healthy things, and I've got some concerns.
Yeah.
You know, and it's maybe the social media thing, and it just feels like there's a lot of celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we're called to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and talk all day long that you're not a celebrity.
Yeah.
But actions speak louder than words a little bit, you know. But, you know, it's just my opinion. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I go back and look at the stuff I did in the early days. And how many records did we sell? How many people are coming to the show? Did we sell out the arena? You know, it's like all those immature things that I sort of went through, and I don't really care about that stuff anymore, you know. So thank God I'm growing up. I'm not all there yet, but, you know, I'll just say this. One of my greatest goals in life, and I'm almost there, is that I'll never, ever be offended by anyone ever again.
Wow.
And I'm getting there, you know.
Really? I'm going to try to offend you right now. Then.
Come on, let's do it. But no, I think there's some, and again, I'm trying not to be judgmental, and I know I'm not the new kid on the block. You know, I've been doing this for 43 years.
But that's why you should say something.
Well, I do, because I feel like it's crazy. I've known this for a long time. Don Finto, my mentor, who's 96 years old,
Wow,
has talked to me about this for years. That I think I'm supposed to father.
Yeah,
and that's part of my role. And I think I'm going to continue to make records. I think my best work is ahead, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But I don't really care if it sells. I don't care if it's number one. I don't care if it's on the radio. It's like So all that stuff is a very freeing place to be.
Yeah.
But I get lots of people, lots of these kids coming, how'd you do it? You're married to the same woman for almost 45 years, was this September. How'd you survive success? And I feel like I'm supposed to sow into these.
Well, tell me the answer to that question, because that is a good question. How have you had a long-lasting marriage and survived all of this?
Yeah.
When others haven't?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I married a great woman.
Okay.
Who's a woman of God.
Yes.
I mean, just like makes me raise my game up, because every morning when I walk into the kitchen, she's in the Word. Just Old Testament dude. She's just in the Word every single morning.
Wow.
Her prayer life's amazing. She's in 3 prayer groups. We have a prayer group that's been together for 35 years. Wow. I've had a mentor.
Yeah.
For 42 years.
That's a 96-year-old guy. Yeah.
He's still alive and still kicking and sharp as ever.
Wow.
And then just, who do you surround yourself with? You surround yourself with good people?
Yeah.
Or you surround yourself with not so good people?
Mm-hmm.
And there's ramifications of both of those. If you surround yourself with great people, then you got a good chance of being able to do this pretty well, you know?
Well, younger Michael found out what happened when you got around the wrong people that influenced you in a bad way. But then later, God, I think you've just revealed part of it, which is you're grounded and connected with real people.
Yeah.
It's very easy in what you do, and even what I do, is to be isolated and be in sort of a bubble.
Yeah.
And you know, your wife's in prayer groups, and you have a mentor, you have someone you listen to, someone who probably could correct you if necessary.
Oh, yeah.
You could ask advice from. I know you're involved in the church. We've talked about that before. Because a lot of times when you're, you can be a Christian artist traveling all the time, not be a part of a church, not be reading your Bible every day, not be just living really like a normal Christian to start with, because it becomes a career. It's not bad that it's your career, but I think it needs to start from your relationship with God for it to be effective.
Yeah. Well, you have to fight for it, because I'll just go on record and say it's a wonderful and a strange life.
Yes.
I mean, it's the perks are amazing. I mean, golly, the fact I get to do what I love to do, and that, in my humble opinion, I think music is the most powerful universal language in the world.
Yeah.
And that your music has completely changed millions of people.
Yes.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I know that's not me.
Yeah.
But then it's the sort of accolades and all the people put you on a pedestal and and then you try to lower the temp on the celebrity thing, and sometimes that doesn't always work, and then you don't feel like you can go anywhere, and then I like being by myself because I'm an introvert and an extrovert.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I know every night I do it every night when I go out there going, God, I know this is not about me. So 2 things. I'm clothing myself with humility tonight, and let my posture be beautiful to you. And any admiration or any stuff coming at me, I deflect it. I just deflect the glory, because I know this is not about me. So may you be glorified in everything I say and everything I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, coming back to Billy Graham, I mean, he is probably the most famous person I ever met. And I spent time with him, as you did. And I remember one time we did a crusade. Well, he's preached. I was just there, Portland, Oregon. So we come off the stage, and there are people lined up on both sides, you know, just in awe of Billy. Like it's almost like Moses was walking through the midst of them. Billy just kind of had his head down. And we get in the car. And so Billy's in the back seat. Franklin's sitting next to him. I'm riding shotgun. You may remember T.W. Wilson. He was driving the car. So we're driving out. So I turn around back toward Billy. I said, Billy, that was a great message tonight. And he looks at me and says, well, it's just gospel. We turn back around like, well, I know. They thought, maybe I'll talk about a particular point. Billy, I said, I loved it when you said, Christ can resensitize your conscience. And Billy said, well, he can. I just turned back around. So here's my lesson I learned.
That's funny.
He didn't want to be complimented. He did his job.
Yeah.
Now, but then we go back to his hotel room, and someone gave us some roast beef sandwiches at the beginning of the night, which were now completely cold. So we'd go back to his room. We're going to eat these sandwiches. Billy disappears in a room, comes back out in his pajamas and his dress shoes. So I guess he left his slippers at home. He was surrounded by these guys he's known for years. They're telling old stories. They're laughing. Like he wanted to be just regular guy.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought this is really an important key. And I was with him in public places and people would approach him. He was always approachable.
Yeah.
How are you? In fact, when you talk to Billy, you would ask him questions. So Billy, tell me about when you met Golda Meir, or tell me about when you met Muhammad Ali. And he would say a couple of things and then he'd say, tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
But it was genuine.
Right.
Those are great qualities.
Yeah.
So that's good to be aware of that. One thing I think in the early days of the Jesus movement, a lot of our songs spoke to non-believers. Mm-hmm. Really, I think in its inception, it was designed to just express what we were experiencing. So these musicians, wrote these songs that talked about it. Love Song as an example. They had a song, Two Hands. You may remember it.
Yeah, I do.
The lyrics were, we're all gathered here because we all believe. If there's a doubter in the crowd, we ask you not to leave. Give a listen to the story. Hear the message that we bring. Let the faith swell up inside you. Lift your voice with us and sing. Accept him with your whole heart and use your own two hands. With one, reach out to Jesus. With the other, bring a friend. So if you would go to church, you would sit there and kind of hear the gospel.
Yeah.
And so what I would like to see more of in Christian music, I love the praise. I love the worship. It's fantastic. We have it in the Crusades, and I think it just moves people powerfully and prepares their heart for the gospel. But I would like to hear more songs almost addressed to a non-believer, saying this is what has happened. It could be testimony. It could be gospel proclamation done in an artistic way.
I totally agree.
You should write a song about when you were 17 years old and having a drug overdose, because no one would expect a song like that from you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of your life, and kind of like, because it's been said, success builds walls and failure builds bridges.
Yeah.
When you're all that in a bag of chips, and I've had all these great things happen. Okay, you're successful. Who can relate to that? But when you talk about struggles and failures, everyone can relate to that.
Yeah. I have a couple songs like that on my record.
You're writing?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not released yet, but
okay.
pretty
I like
raw.
that.
Pretty raw.
Well, that would be surprising and powerful.
Yeah.
And so I encourage you to continue on doing that.
Thank you.
So you started something called Rocketown. Tell me what that is and what you do.
Crazy story. 1991, I was in a little red Miata. Thought I was having a midlife crisis. Probably not. But there was a cruising problem in Franklin, Tennessee, where I live.
Wow.
And they started doing curfews. And I just thought, let me just back up and say that I thought, if the whole music thing doesn't work out for me, I'm going to be a youth pastor.
Wow, that's so cool.
Because of what I went through.
Yeah.
I can identify.
Yeah.
And I think I can identify the whole drug thing, whatever. 1991, I just released Go West Show Man record. And I go in and I park on the corner. All these kids are cruising. And I hear the voice of God. I don't say it very often. Like, it's almost an audible thing. Build it and they'll come. I went, that's the Kevin Costner movie. That's what I said. Field of Dreams. Yeah, that's Field of Dreams. I kept hearing, build it and they'll come. Build it and they'll come. And I thought, and I started flushing out in my head going, build a facility and impact the youth of the city.
Wow.
Not just Franklin, but Nashville. Mm-hmm. And I did all this research. They said it wouldn't work. We opened up in 94 in a little coffee house. Then we moved to this church that gave us their building. And we had 600 people show up the first night. Wow. No advertisement. They had the big things waving in the air, the big lights, And it was back then, it was the rave. The raves were the big thing, the whole dancing thing. Yeah. So we just tried to pull kids in, tried to make it very non-Christian from being like a Bible club. We were trying to attract kids who don't know the Lord. And we made lots of mistakes, God, trying to be all things to all people. And then it's a long story. I'm going to write a book about it one day. But whatever, we closed in 97. Columbine happened. We were still meeting kids in coffee houses, and so Columbine happened. And I came back and thought, if we had had a Rocketown in Littleton, Colorado, I think we could have prevented that tragedy. Wow. So we reopened, and I had a very good friend who I can't say his name. I'll tell you later. Who said, "I'll match whatever you can raise." And
Wow.
in 3 months, and we raised $2.3 million, and then he matched it with 2.4.
Wow.
George Herbert Walker Bush was my campaign chairman.
Oh,
And we built this facility in downtown Nashville.
amazing.
We had to move one time just 3 blocks away, and we're still in the heart of Nashville. Everything is brand new around us. They've torn everything down, and we're right in the heart of it. And we're seeing kids come to know Christ every single week.
So that's been going on a long time.
Long time.
There's a quote you gave in an interview. The greatest joy of my life is not another music award, but hearing a kid tell me I was contemplating suicide, but I came to Rocketown, heard the truth, and got loved on. That's a good statement.
Doesn't get much better than that.
And you've seen that happen.
Weekly, it's happening.
What's
weekly.
more important?
I know.
Saving a life?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So it's really odd. We have an indoor skate park, and there's a church that meets there. We have a music studio. We have a dance studio. We have after school programs.
Wow.
Found out kids were starving. We have a food program. We have a lot of kids from the projects that come, but we got them all.
Wow.
And they love it because they come because they're not judged, and every staff member knows everything about them, their dog's name, everything.
Wow.
Typical kid, mom's a prostitute, dad's in jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we're seeing some really beautiful things happen.
Have you met Alice Cooper?
I haven't know Alice.
So Alice,
We kind of the same thing.
it's such a similar story.
Because he's been to Rocketown.
Yeah.
I've been to his place.
Yes.
We've talked a lot
And he
about
was overdosing on he said, a rock of cocaine the size of a softball. And it was so bad. He said he looked in the mirror and saw blood coming out of his eyes. He said, I don't know if I was hallucinating or if it was real, but all I knew is I was going to die. And he called out to God, and he got right with the Lord.
Yeah.
And then later, he started something very similar to what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I love that.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you some kind of, I don't know how to describe these
Don't go
questions.
full on theology on me. I'll be in trouble.
Yes. Okay. What's the order of end time events? No, just
I'm in
explain.
trouble.
Explain the sovereignty of God. No kidding. Okay. So here's some simple questions.
Okay.
Now you've met a lot of famous people. You don't brag. I like that about you, but you have met a lot of famous people. Who were you most starstruck by? Like, oh, whoa. Tongue-tied maybe. Like, I don't know what to say.
Probably John Williams, who's my musical hero, who's
What a talent.
Raiders, Lost
Did you
Ark,
see
Star
that
Wars.
documentary on him?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I cry every time I watch it.
I didn't realize how many songs he had written until I watched that.
It's the melodies. It's the melodies. And he's still my musical hero.
Wow. When you write a song, do you usually start with a melody, with the lyric, or does it vary from song to
It's
song?
usually a melody. And sometimes there's an idea. I mean, I don't know. One day I'm 1 hour I'm writing a worship song. The next day I'm writing some jazz number.
Wow.
Then I'm writing a cinematic piece of music. You know, I've scored films.
Yes.
You know, I've done 2 instrumental records. You know, I just never know what's going to come out. You know, so.
Incredible.
But John's
Have you met him?
I have.
Yeah, because that was the
Yeah.
guy you were Star Trek by.
I was a little.
What did you say to him?
I just said, you have no idea. I mean, he
Did he know who you were?
I don't think so. And that's okay. You know, I said, you just have no idea how much
Yeah.
of an influence you've been in my life. Thank you. That's what do you do? You can't really start a conversation. I just think,
Right.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, the guy I was the most starstruck by is I was on a beach in Maui, and I'm sitting there. In my backpack is a cassette. This marks it in time of the Beatles' love songs. It was a re-release of their love songs.
Mm-hmm.
Who sits behind me? George Harrison.
wow.
And I hear his voice, that familiar Liverpudlian accent. So I was so nervous. What do I say to George Harrison? Because I'm a huge Beatles fan. So I turned around and I said, appreciate all the music you've done over the years. He's just wearing sunglasses. He just looks at me. He doesn't even respond. He literally didn't acknowledge my existence. I turned back around. It's kind of like Billy in the car. No, not
Right.
really. It's different. I think, okay, forget it. So then the day went by. We were down on the beach. And actually, it's funny. His son, Danny, didn't know how to boogie board. And my oldest son, Christopher, was really good at it. So he spent the day showing Danny how to catch waves. So it's time to leave. And this is the era of the traveling Wilburys.
Wow.
So I brought that up. I said, oh, you know, I wasn't giving up on this guy. You know, I love the traveling Wilburys. Then he came to life. Then he started talking and, oh, you're going to love the next record. And so it was a nice conversation. Then I read I was looking at a biography on him, and it said George never liked to talk about the Beatles. I thought, that's it.
Wow.
I brought the wrong topic up. Yes.
That's good. That's
So
amazing.
what makes you angry?
Probably the injustice that goes on in the world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. Sex, slave, the
trafficking.
just boils my blood.
Yeah.
And people get by with it. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So
A lot of injustice in this world.
there is.
So what makes you laugh?
My grandkids.
Oh, yeah. Same for me.
Yeah.
Now, you've heard this question before, but it's kind of an interesting one. If you could have dinner with anyone, alive or gone, maybe 3 other guests, you and 3 other guests, who would you want to have dinner with, hang out with?
Like three
Yeah,
guys.
anyway, it could be C.S. Lewis. It could
Yeah,
be,
I would say
you can't have Jesus.
you can't have Jesus.
Because we know he's gonna be number one.
I would say C.S. Lewis is probably a pick. Charleston Heston
Yeah, he's cool.
and Ronald Reagan.
Oh, yeah. When you got to meet Reagan for real.
I know, but
I would go to that dinner.
I'm a huge Reagan fan.
Yeah, me too.
And
I'm a
to
huge
watch
Charlton Heston fan.
Well, so am I too.
Yeah.
The movies, but I love going back and watching these YouTube clips of Reagan.
Yeah.
These little snippet of the speeches that are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
He was incredible. I was thinking, if they were going to put another face on Mount Rushmore, it should be Reagan.
It should be Reagan.
I mean, there's others you could consider, but Ronald Reagan, I mean, he changed things
Yeah, he
in
did.
the nation in a significant way.
I agree.
He is one of a kind. So, like, what's your favorite kind of go-to food when you're hungry? Like, oh man, this is, because you're so skinny. Have you ever been overweight?
Oh, maybe in the early days, but
The early days.
yeah, maybe when I first moved to Nashville, I was like 180 or something like that. But I lost it. You know, I got a high metabolism.
Do you?
You know, I love sushi. I have to be
Yeah, you
careful
do.
with parasites and that
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know, and because I've had some issues with, you know, especially when you go to we'll go out with Franklin, we're all around the world and we're eating all this crazy Asian food. And so you got to be really careful.
Franklin loves McDonald's.
Oh,
doesn't he?
believe me.
I mean, it's real.
I-
He actually wrote a post the other day and he's saying, McDonald's, please keep the fried apple pie and make sure it's the fried one. Then he says it's actually lower calorie than the baked one. I never knew this. And it was like a whole post he did pleading with McDonald's to keep that fried apple pie.
amazing. It's amazing.
So sushi, that's it?
You know, this is what I really love when it comes to food. Deb and I have a new hobby, and we've had it for 5 or 6 years. We built a greenhouse on our farm. We have a 200-acre farm, 20 minutes from our house, and we have this massive garden.
Wow.
And like the other day, I picked 200 green beans.
Oh.
And thought I'd got them all, and then found another 150. I picked 8 squash. I picked 4 zucchini. And you take that food and you eat it that night.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better.
Because it's so fresh.
You're eating food right out of your garden. That's my favorite thing to do when it comes
I can see that. Yeah. And the green beans can be really sweet, can't they?
They can.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I asked Marco Rubio, what is your favorite go-to food? Chicken parm and pizza.
That's amazing.
Those are comfort foods, aren't they?
I do love pizza, but I like healthy pizza, you know, but I don't eat a lot of bread.
What is healthy pizza? Like, what would your pizza order be?
It would probably be it would be dough from Italy.
Okay.
Okay.
That's going to limit you.
Yeah. But you know, you can go to Costco and you can find some of these things where this dough is
from Italy.
It
really makes a difference.
And to me, I can taste the difference.
Yeah,
like the soil, I can get it.
How about their tomatoes? Like a tomato from Italy it's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but the flavor.
The flavor.
Well, it's a fruit, isn't it?
It is.
Technically.
Okay. But
Sweet.
that I would take something from Italy, and then I would add other things like basil from our garden.
Oh yeah.
I would put garlic on it.
Yes.
And I would probably put olive oil on it because I'm a big olive.
So you're not going to, I want a pepperoni pizza. That's not going to be the one.
Probably
you
not.
That sounds pretty good though. I think anything pizza, I love it. But the pizza in Italy is so amazing.
Yeah.
And it's great. So tell me what, like when you're listening to do you listen to the radio? Like
Not much.
not that much, but you hear songs.
Yeah.
Everywhere we go, we hear songs. Are there songs, like I have a thing on Apple, it's Greg's playlist.
Yeah.
And it just picks songs that it thinks I will like. And a lot of the times it's pretty good. I think these are good because I have a lot of, it'll be like a Frank Sinatra song, a Beatles song, and then some other random thing because I like all kinds of things. And I guess maybe if you go next, it just found out, oh, he doesn't like that song. I'm not sure how it works.
Right.
But like, if you hear a song on the radio, you go, oh, I love this, and you still lean in it and to listen, even though you've heard it a million times. You mentioned I Want to Hold Your Hand. Did you?
I did earlier.
What would be like a song? Oh, I love that song.
I would say probably anything from the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, 80s.
Like I have a hard time finding things that I like, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
But like I'm loving the new Keith Urban record.
Oh, wow.
And it's yacht rock.
Yes.
And you will know there's maybe 2 new songs. Everything
Yes.
you will know. And it's incredible.
I heard him do a recording of Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts.
That's
Is
it.
that
So
from that record?
that's on that record.
It's very close to the original.
Yes, it is.
I always thought that was a great song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of great songs on that record.
I didn't even know there was yacht rock until I saw some doc on it. And I went,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I know that. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
that music.
It's a strange title that they've called this whole thing, yacht rock.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. But it has a certain sound. I'm a little older than you, so I'm more into like mid-60s music, early
Okay, yeah.
70s music. But
Yeah.
I like music from the 80s. Were you an ELO fan?
I was.
Yeah, Jeff Lynne.
Jeff Lynne and Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald.
Yeah,
I love British music.
yeah.
Just a lot of that stuff was contagious, But the 80s, they were just great moments from the 80s were the melodies. Like
And your
Mr.
career was
Mr.
taking off too in the 80s.
It started taking off.
That'd have been sort of your pop career
Yes.
phase,
Yeah.
right?
Well, 80s and through the 90s.
Yeah.
The Worship record didn't come out till 2001.
Right.
Which was released on 9/11, believe it or not,
Wow.
of all days. But yeah, I was a worship leader for 19 years and still doing pop music, and-
Yeah.
But yeah, the British thing was a big thing for me. Like I loved Yes.
Yeah.
I was a big Kansas fan because I loved classical.
Kerry
and pop.
Livgren became a Christian.
Yeah, I met Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time ago.
He formed a band after Kansas called AD.
I had it.
It was like a Christian
I had
band,
I had all those
effectively.
records. Yeah.
And so we had them at our church, and they're doing their own songs. And I said, "Can you do Carry On My Wayward Son?" He goes, "At church?" I said, "Absolutely." and the guitar solo on Carry On My Wayward Son that Carrie does is insane.
Yeah.
So they're playing it. They blew our entire sound system out.
Wow.
And I said, I think maybe it was worth it to hear that song.
I'll bet that was a great moment.
I thought, I don't want to be thinking that song that bothers me in church. It's pretty Carry On My Wayward Son. There'll be peace when you are done. So it worked out pretty well. So are you a coffee guy?
I'm not a coffee guy.
Not a coffee
I'm a tea
guy.
guy. Green
Tea guy.
Love tea. Both Deb and I are green tea drinkers.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a very healthy person.
Try to be.
I think I may be the opposite of you in all things food. I like tea fine.
Yeah.
But I like coffee. But though your description of your perfect pizza was pretty appealing, I have to say. So are you a movie fan?
I am, but I have a hard time finding something that I love.
Movies today. Yeah. What are some, I define my favorite movie as if I see it on TV, even though I've seen it a million times, if I keep watching it, that means it's one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
Like Tombstone. If Tombstone's on my TV, I'm going to watch it till the commercial comes because it has so many amazing lines. Or Braveheart, or The Patriot. I'm going to just watch that movie.
Right.
Do you have movies like that?
Yeah.
Like what would they be?
Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. That's 80s, wasn't it?
That was 81, I think.
Yeah.
And then I also love the Star Wars. It got off track a little bit. Empire Strikes Back is still, I think, probably the best of all of them.
Right.
So I was a Star Wars fan. I still like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with Sean Connery and Harrison Ford.
You met John Williams. Did you ever meet Spielberg?
I never met Spielberg.
Yeah.
Loved E.T. Still love E.T.
Yes.
I mean, Schindler's List. I mean, it's
movie.
probably the dark. I mean, it's so hard to watch,
but amazing.
But I'll never forget. I was in Orange County. I was at a movie theater all by myself when I saw Schindler's a long time ago, and And I've not been able, I don't think I've watched the whole thing since then.
Yeah. I rewatched it recently, and I thought this is such, because it was shot in black and white.
Yeah.
Except that opening scene with the little girl, they had her in a red coat.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of following this little girl in the red coat. And then at the end, you're hoping she survives, of course. And then you see she was killed by the Nazis. And that was a really powerful way to personalize it. And you know, amazing performances and heartbreaking. But the scene at the end when Schindler says, I could have saved just one more. I've used that as an illustration for evangelism, you know, just we can reach one more person.
Yeah.
Who are people that some unexpected people maybe you've been able to share the gospel with? Do those opportunities come up when you meet different folks?
Yeah, a lot. Well, not as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
I will never forget when, I don't know why I go to this story every time. I'll never forget I was hosting the VH1 Countdown, which I caught a lot of flack for. It was being Luther Vandross.
Oh, yeah.
Hosting the VH1 Countdown during my...
Why would you catch flack for that?
Well, because there was a Budweiser commercial, and so I had stores in Alabama pull my records.
Wow.
All that kind of... That's a whole... And I would never debate because I didn't think there was anything to debate.
Yeah.
Saying all that, I'm in the makeup chair, and there's this beautiful woman doing my makeup, and I'm sitting, God, just keep me focused, keep me focused. And I got team around me. But she's doing my makeup, we just start talking. And then she says, can I just ask you a question? I said, yeah. She said, there's something different about you. I said, really? I said, well, do you want to know what it is? She said, I do. And I said, I'm in love with Jesus. And he loves me and he loves you. And she started to cry.
Wow.
I never knew what happened because it was sort of like, well, they got me out of the chair going, oh, it was nice to meet you. And it was that big sow the seed moment.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten her.
Wow.
And I hope and trust that she gave her heart to the Lord.
That's the best kind of witness, when you effectively earn the right to share your faith by the way that you live.
And that's what we do at Rocketown. To me, it's like, this is my second greatest goal, other than not being offended. Like when Don Finto walks into a room, the whole atmosphere changes. Just like, and it's not because he drinks carrot juice, you know. He's got the glow. There's something, and I want to be able to walk into a room of people I've never met, and they go, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
That's amazing.
That's what that's a big dream and prayer of mine.
Wow, that's a great goal. You know, Michael, I want to just thank you for, you know, being such a great model. You talked about being like a father figure. You know, you've been a great model, not just in Christian music, but just in the church as a representative of Jesus Christ, and the many environments you've been in that could turn many ahead and sabotage many a career, sabotage many a marriage. And you've held your course and you've been faithful. And I want to thank you for doing that, because it's great to have you out there representing us.
Well, thank you.
You know how I know you're one of the good guys? Because you're dressed all in white.
Well, I'm not going to forget that.
Yeah. And I don't know what that says about me being dressed in black. But in closing, who is Jesus Christ to you, and why should a person follow him?
Well, he's the lover of my soul. And as Don spoke about it the other day on his little Facebook page, it's the Romans 3 thing. It's like he knew that we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it. Obviously the law is there for a reason, but we knew we couldn't do it. So by faith, he's going to make us righteous. That's astounding to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you righteousness. If you have faith, I'm going to give you righteousness.
Yeah.
That's the greatest news. That's what the world needs to hear.
Yes.
And I wake up every morning going, God, I just can't believe I'm such a mess, and I'm still trying to pull it together, and you just love me regardless. And so he's the perfect father.
Yes.
He's a good father, not to borrow from the song.
Yeah.
And I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Doesn't matter how I feel. Sometimes you don't feel it. Sometimes there's some weeks you go back and go, God, where are you? Like, why do I feel like I'm in the funk? I feel a little off. What is that? But I know in the midst of all that, he still loves me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great hanging out with you.
It's good.
Hey, thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media, and be sure to download the Harvest Plus app, where you will find exclusive content just for you. See you next time.